Come here real quick. Come here. Hold on. If somebody said that we're getting our Avengers back by the injuries that are coming back, who would you compare Arias, Jason Hayward, and Jackson Merrill to in terms of an Avenger?
I've never really watched Avengers, to be honest.
Not a nerd. He's a nerd in other ways.
I do play RuneScape sometimes. That's a little nerdy. And disc golf.
But you don't know position.
I mean, I think it was just, we felt lonely out there. We missed our guys. And, we missed them in the clubhouse. They were gone for a whole week, and we just felt empty.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Marty Time TV. My name is Marty Caswell. I do apologize that today's broadcast is coming a lot later than I initially planned. But then again, it seems to be a theme of today's game because it looks like the Padres and the Yankees, if that game even happens today, is going to occur a lot later than any of us planned. Now, first and foremost, I know my ticker says right here that Jackson Merrill turns to the Padres and that MLB Network's Matt Vasgersian joins the show, as well as Jake Giarriani from local CBS. Two of those things are true. Jake will be here. We're going to catch up with him shortly at a bar somewhere in New York City. I'm not sure exactly where he's at. Jackson Merrill is with the Padres. He is in New York. He is in the clubhouse. He's just not going to play today. You're going to hear from Mike Shildt in a few minutes. And Mike Shildt did say that it was part of giving him the off day today was part of his rehab process. So it sounds like Jackson Merrill will be back in the Padres lineup tomorrow in center field. And Matty V. We were trying to Matt Vasgersian. This game is supposed to be an MLB Network as well as your normal Padres TV, but we had to go ahead and switch things up with Matty. So we'll get Vasgersian on the show later on to talk about these Padres. Now, I mentioned, of course, the Padres are in New York. I don't think this game is going to happen just based on the weather forecast. So there you go, another extra day for Jackson Merrill to go ahead and get fully healthy. Now, to start this show, we had that little open, of course, Michael King and Dylan Cease having some fun talking about the Avengers, but also Manny Machado talking about being lonely and they're getting their guys back. That was in reference to last week with Luis Arias and Jason Hayward returning to the Padres. And of course, the Padres are undefeated since that happened. Now, as they're in New York, they're about to get even healthier because Jackson Merrill is back tomorrow on Tuesday, and it looks like Jake Cronenworth is back on Friday. Bear with me. Here's a little bit from Mike Shildt today, pregame in New York, talking about, the game maybe getting canceled, but also about Jackson Merrill being back with the team. Give me a second.
Have you heard anything about what might be happening with this game today in terms of the weather and whatnot?
My understanding we're playing at 7:08.
Okay, very good. Nick Pivetta going for you. He's taken this game to a different level this year, whether you look at righties or lefties. What do you think has been the biggest difference for him in terms of what he's fine-tuned to take it to the next level?
Yeah, I think he's done a lot of quality things. You say righty, lefty. He's been terrific for us. His fastball's got a lot of life to it. He's been able to throw it in the zone. He's been able to work off of that to throw other pitches, been able to control counts, get ahead and a lot of hitters, and has pitches to put them away. So he's done a great job.
Facing an offense that has scored a lot of its runs via the home run. So obviously you need to be careful of that. You're always conscious of not trying to put guys on base. And even more important to make sure there's no free passes and with a home run hitting team like this.
I think it's always important. I mean, listen, regardless of clubs you play, there's capable guys in the lineup. Clearly they have a good lineup. We don't like to give anything away in competition. We want to make and execute our game plan and make adjustments when we see they need to be made adjustments during the game. So, we're going to pitch them tough. We'll pitch our game and we'll catch the ball and go play the game.
Jackson Merrill in the clubhouse today. How exciting is it to see him making progress and hopefully joining you soon?
Yeah, no, it's great. Jackson's back. Looks like he really was, as you would expect with all our guys. Like just got through doing it. Crony's in the process of doing as well, but just a very professional rehab. He dominated every day in what he was able to do. No more, no less. Actually, some more on some of the areas that he was looking to help support the team and stay ready mentally. But, it's great to have him back, and we'll see what tomorrow looks like.
Not playing tonight a matter of just the travel or the wet weather on the field?
Not playing tonight as a schedule of his rehab.
Okay.
Yeah, he played Saturday, played Sunday, and scheduled a day off today to recover, from a couple games. So he's on track for tomorrow.
Jose Iglesias not in there tonight. Is he all good, or you just got Wade going against the lefty? That's
our lineup for today.
okay. So Awakens is good.
That's our lineup for today. Yeah.
You guys are obviously getting healthier, getting these guys back right
Yes.
now. For you to have been kind of like be where you are now, like having the record that you have and played some of the baseball that you have, what does that do kind of springboard maybe for the rest of the season in terms of knowing you can sustain some of the adversity that you faced?
Yeah, I mean, we sustained it last year. It's part of the game, right? Is no one's going to feel sorry for you. You know, we talk about winners finding solutions. We have roster's depth. We have people that are capable and fulfilling different roles if called upon. And unfortunately, we've had to call upon it, but fortunately, guys have answered the bell, and guys have come up and contributed, taking a complete roster, not only the 20s that we have, but the 40-man as well. And it's further indication that we have good players, but also a complete indication that we play the game the right way. It gives us the best chance to win. If you, this game I was talking about earlier, we throw strikes. We're always going to be together. That's what this group does. A lot of love in this clubhouse. We play clean defensively. We just got through doing it, of course, the last 5 games. And we execute on offense and take what the situation gives us, whether it be with the at-bats or on the bases. Toddy coming to mind, in Game 2 in Pittsburgh. All those things, stack up to give you the best chance to shake hands.
So that was manager Mike Shildt today in the last hour or so, just talking about getting guys back. He seemed confident the game was going to happen. Of course, that game has been pushed back now because of the rain. But he also spoke about the adversity that the Padres are facing, which I find interesting. I remember I posed that question to Jason Hayward a couple of weeks ago when the Padres were having their injuries. This is the injury to Jackson Merrill and Jake Cronenworth. And Hayward said, I don't look at it as adversity. This isn't adversity. This is nothing. It happens in baseball. It's about how these guys are going to respond. The Padres clearly struggled without Luis Arraez and even without Hayward, with his presence in the lineup, the impact of his good quality at bats. But now, man, they're back, and what a difference maker Luis Arraez is. Tomorrow, when AJ Cassavell joins the show, he's going to join us from New York. He is there right now. The question I'd want to pose to him. And listen, the correct answer is you never can have too much pitching, especially elite top of the line pitching, which Michael King is showing. But when you look at the impact that Luis Arraez has had, I wonder if you're AJ Preller and you give him a lie detector, in what picking order of importance is it to resign your own guy? Is it Michael King or is it Luis Arraez? And I'm sure that when Michael King returns to New York, I'm sure it's happening right now, he pitches tomorrow. He's going to face a lot of line and questioning from the New York media about the chances of re-signing with the Yankees come this offseason. So we'll see what happens. The one reason I'm looking forward to this series, number one, it's Padres and Yankees, always a blast. But I think you can make the argument that it features 2 of the best, most exciting players in baseball. You can start with Fernando Tatis Jr. How many players in this game can do what he did on Saturday single-handedly, right? Just turning a single into a double, stealing third, stealing home, just all the different ways he can beat a team. But it also features Aaron Judge, who right now, this dude, Aaron Judge is I don't know that we appreciate enough of what he does. There's a great, Jeff Passan of ESPN had a story about this, about how, Judge is hitting an astounding 423. His 8th inning double Sunday extended his hitting streak to 14 games. He has hit 474 with 10 extra base hits during that streak. In his on-base streak to 30 games, he leads the majors in batting average, on-base percentage, slugging percentage, OPS, and hits, and is tied with Teoscar Hernandez for the lead in RBIs. So when they do get this series going, man, I'm looking forward to watching Tatis and Aaron Judge, 2 of the guys I consider the most exciting players in baseball. Before we get to Jake Giarriani of CBS Sports, your local Padres reporter with CBS, I'm going to go ahead and take full credit for my line of questioning to Mike Shildt on the last homestand when I was asking him about the catcher situation, namely about, the platoon with Maldonado and of course, Elias Diaz. Now, Luis Camposano is here right now. I don't know for how long, but it seems to be clear from the Padres that barring an injury situation, he is not here to be used behind the plate. He is going to be here in the DH capacity. Perhaps you can throw him in there at first base or at third base. I know last year at Petco Park, I would see him taking grounders at third base, probably just to get some reps. But it sounds like the catching situation with Maldonado and Diaz will go forward. This is what Mike Shildt had to say when I asked him about the catching offense. Stats in baseball, I'm sure the catchers are big users for it. Do you need any offense from these guys, or it's just like, you know what they do defensively for the pitchers is more than enough?
I come from a school where, the catching position's critical to your staff. It's the most important position on the field that's going to also affect their teammates and 13 other players, their pitching staff. Diaz and Maldi have both done a tremendous job with our staff, starters, relievers, the whole shooting match. As far as the offensive things, Diaz hit a 2-run homer, helped us win a game over in Detroit. Maldi's got some big hits. Diaz has got some big hits. And I think they have contributed offensively, but I'm not saying it's gravy, because I think those both guys are capable and have done things to help us offensively. But ultimately, what they're doing behind the plate, I don't know how many of you studied it, which I have. There's always outliers, but you don't see too many pitching staffs with mediocre catching. You see pitching staffs with really, really high IQ, defensive skilled catchers that help shepherd and bring 13 guys up to their fullest potential, and we have 2 guys that are doing that.
Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so that was Mike Shildt last homestand talking about Diaz and Maldonado, who, by the way, have just taken off since I second guessed the catching offense. Here's the thing with the Padres, and I think this was apparent. And I mentioned this about a month ago. If we were talking about the Padres struggling offensively and talking about needing more offense from the Padres catchers, then something has really gone wrong with the heart of the order. Something has gone wrong with Tatis and Jackson Merrill and Manny Machado and Xander Bogaerts, who looked a lot better against the Pirates this weekend. It should never be with the catchers. That was the whole argument when the Padres had Austin Hedges. Their main job is to produce behind the plate and work with a pitching staff. And so far, man, it's working. The Padres have the best bullpen in baseball, and the starters haven't been so bad. Looking forward to Nick Pivetta. I'm sure it's an extra day for him to go ahead and stomp around his room or the hotel room or the Padres clubhouse in anticipation of facing the Yankees. Okay, we're going to get here to Jake Giarriani of CBS. Full disclosure, I recorded this a little bit ago where we were wondering whether or not this game would be delayed. But we'll talk to Jake now about his experience at Fenway Park and, of course, being at the Bronx for Padres and Yankees. Hang on one second. Before I do, let's see. Thank you guys for your comments. It's a little bit nerve-wracking to sit here talking into a computer by myself. Matt Vasgersian did have to cancel last second, but we will check in with him later on this week. One more thing. If you have your questions on the Padres, don't forget AJ Cassavell will join me from New York tomorrow. You can send them to me here in this chat. I will see them on the YouTube chat. You can send them to me on Twitter at Marty Caswell. I'm also on Threads, and I'm somewhere on Blue Sky. Instagram is Marty Caswell 619. And I'm kicking myself for not saying this to start the show, that we are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. John Murray, no perv or anything, but I look good. I look good with pigtails. I prefer pigtails, and tomorrow I will be in pigtails because I don't have time. I'm just disorganized right now, and I'm having a really, really wretched hair week. So, John Murray, I'm glad you like the pigtails. I'll be back in those things tomorrow. All right, here we go. Here is Jake from CBS. All right, as promised, I can't believe this guy is checking in. This is Jake Giarriani from, of course, local CBS. And by the way, speaking of CBS, and I'll confirm this, I believe that they will have the Padres and the Rockies this Saturday, free TV. So if you don't have a subscription, you can watch the Padres, hopefully continue their dominance in Colorado. But I want to find out if Jake did my bidding and if he interviewed Red Sox fans in Fenway Park about Xander Bogaerts, who, by the way, looks great. Jake, how are you? Where are you?
I knew you were going to ask that, so I definitely did do it. I'm doing well. I'm soaked because it's pouring rain in Manhattan. We're currently at Hell's Kitchen Empanada Mama, for those wondering that know the area well. Nice little restaurant here. Enjoying a classic margarita, a Marty Caswell special for you and I. Enjoying a vacation where we went to the Red Sox game on Friday and then went to a concert in Brattleboro, Vermont on Saturday. Wow. Now we've headed down to Manhattan, and we're here for the Padres Yankees game, and it's going to be awesome. Happy Jackson Merrill Returns Day to all those who would like to participate in that. So it's good times right now.
Yes. Happy Jackson Merrill. I'm not sure if they're going to get this game in. And I'm not sure if there's going to be a doubleheader. I would imagine on Wednesday, because I haven't even checked the Yankee schedule for Thursday, but I imagine both teams want to avoid using an off day to go ahead and play an extra game. But we'll see what's going to happen. Right. Michael Pivetta is supposed to go today on Monday, and then the return of Michael King. And that's going to be an interesting storyline because, of course, for those of you who remember, he was traded at the time, a very unpopular trade San Diego-wise for Juan Soto. And he made the comments that the Padres had won that trade. And I'll say right now, they have won that trade because Juan Soto is no longer with the Yankees. He's playing across town with the New York Mets. But one guy, okay, let me stop myself. I'm getting ahead of myself. Jake, we know Aaron Judge is, of course, smashing home runs for the Yankees. He's on a ridiculous pace right now. Do you realize who's like second on the team for the Yankees in home runs?
Trent Grisham.
Trent Grisham he's hitting like 293. I mean, Trent Grisham just looks like a star player. We all listen, he was a gold glove outfielder for the Padres, but the guy could not hit. And now he's a resurgence in New York.
Am I mistaken, though, to think that I felt like he started a lot of years pretty hot for the Padres? Like
not like this.
Not like this, but like to a decent level where I was like, okay, he looks good. And yeah, he's on a bit of a tear. Of course, look, we know Yankee Stadium's a left-handed hitter's haven for a ballpark and all that stuff, so maybe that checks out. But I think, like, let's check Trent Grisham's number. And I love Trent. Awesome dude. But I feel like if we check his numbers in July, maybe they won't look this good. But, hey, I'm happy for him because he's such a good dude. I'm praying for the sake of everything because I flew all the way across the country that this game does not get rained out, even though I just did a 20-minute bike ride in the soaking rain down here to Manhattan. But, yeah, the Michael King storyline is going to be super interesting.
Yes.
I think he goes out there and absolutely deals. I think the way this pitching lines up for the series really favors the Padres.
It's the aces.
Having Pivetta go today against Rodon and then Michael tomorrow. I like the chances of the Padres coming back really strong from this road trip. Obviously, starting with the sweep doesn't hurt anything, right?
Right, and Michael King and then Dylan Cease. I didn't know. I know Cease took some encouraging things from his last outing, but I think that Dylan Cease and some Padres fans are waiting to still see the number one ace, the unhittable ace that Dylan Cease was last season. But yes, this series to me, I hope it happens because these are two great teams that you are going to expect to go ahead and see in the postseason. And you want to see how the Padres starting pitching and their phenomenal bullpen stacks up against one of the best hitters in the game in Aaron Judge. Not just Aaron Judge, right? You mentioned Trent Grisham. Paul Goldschmidt is 37 years old and he's playing like his elite self. So it should be a fun series.
They got a great lineup, and it's two great teams that you just mentioned. I think kind of my takeaway so far, 33 games into the season, is I really look forward to these matchups against these really good teams because the Padres have proven, even through that horrendous sky-falling slump there that was so close, that the Padres have proven they're a great team. They have the best overall ERA in baseball, which is amazing. And they're, just kind of tearing the cover off the ball. They're doing a lot of things the right way. They're pitching really well. So I'm excited to see these two great teams get after it. And I don't know. I feel good about the Padres. I don't know if it's because I'm out here, but I feel good about it being their kind of series here.
Yeah, I don't know that we learned too much. We don't learn too much from when they play the Rockies, right? You don't learn too much from when they play the Pirates, some of the worst teams in baseball, but you shouldn't overlook them because these are teams. Think about the conversation that we had 2 years ago. Was it last year that the Rockies swept the Padres in Petco Park? But then the year before, like the Pirates, they went to Pittsburgh and they got swept like in a 4-game series, and it was absolutely miserable. The Padres a couple of years ago had difficulty beating teams they should go ahead and beat. This year, they are not making those mistakes, right? They are being dominant against against some of the crappier teams in the league. And I actually think that on paper, this is crazy to say, but on paper, I think they are a much better team than the Yankees. And a lot of that is because they have a more complete lineup, a younger lineup, and they have an elite bullpen and dominant starters led by Pivetta, who goes tonight. All right. Quickly, Jay, because I know, listen, you're in Hell's Kitchen. It's so nice of you to even join me, Margarita, and all taunting me right now from New York. It just, I mean, come on, why would you do that for? But what was your impression of Fenway Park when you were there? And did you ask anybody my question on Xander Bogaerts?
I did. Okay, so I'll get to both those things. First of all, was blown away by Fenway Park. I posted a video on my social media of my wife. I didn't know she was taking the video. She's with me. And I get into Fenway and I just run out there and I'm stunned. It really was one of the most magical places I've ever been, in a sense of like anybody who has the means and can do it, and you're a baseball fan,
gotta go.
Must do. I was stunned the whole time. I felt like I was in a movie. Like, it did not feel real in the best way possible. It was just the most, and I saw like the Red Sox and the Twins, two teams I'm like, whatever about. It was just the most magical night. It was unbelievable to see a baseball game there, especially as somebody who had never been. I was completely floored. It was an unbelievable time, and I loved it. As far as your question goes, yes, we went, and I not only did it, but I went to the exact location you asked. What's it called? Cask and Flag?
Cask and Flag, yes.
Went there, and asked 4 or 5 different Red Sox fans, including our bartender, about Xander Bogaerts. The love is still there for sure, but I did get a vibe of like, kind of glad we don't.
Dodged a bullet on that one, right?
Yeah, but they do love him, and in fact, we talked about it last time you and I were on this show together. Just how Xander can help, and all of a sudden, look at him starting to help out, and. Again,
pressure's off. Like, I almost feel like if you're Xander Bogaerts, like, some of the pressure is off because you don't have to be the guy. I mean, I'm thinking the line of questioning. And it's something that I asked Manny Machado. Do you expect for more of yourself from Tatis, from Xander Bogaerts, when you're without, Jackson Merrill, and you don't have Jason Hayward, and you're without Luis Ariz? Well, now those guys are back. Like, Luis Ariz's impact, you can't understate how much of an impact player that he is. It also makes me think, if the Padres are going to go think about which of their internal guys they need to extend right now, whether it's Michael King, who's going to be a free agent, or Luis Ariz, man, you can't go wrong saying Ariz is the priority or Michael King is the priority for the way they change his team, and especially the way that Ariz changes his lineup. But I'm sorry to go ahead and talk all over you, but I just wonder if for Xander Bogaerts, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to have that pressure, and he's a guy that it weighs with him, and it kind of seems to affect his game. So.
No, you're fine. I totally agree. And I think that the contract is never going to live up to the play on the field. I'm sorry. It's the contract he signed. People have to get past that because he's here. Yeah. He's here to stay. Take it for what he gives us. And it's been good recently. As far as the, the extensions and stuff go, I love Luis, and I think he's great. But if it is like a between the two thing, I think you have to. Michael King looks like a
guy. With starting pitching.
He has got to be starting pitching for one, but two, a guy that leads your staff, that is just a bulldog that goes out there and gives you great innings. I don't see there's a reason they can't do both. We'll see financially what this team looks like, moving forward. And now that John's kind of settled in a little bit where it goes. But I thought the general consensus was we love Xander. Not the worst thing in the world. We don't have him anymore. But he is loved out there for sure. I think everything they accomplished together with those Red Sox teams he was a part of will forever stay loved in that city.
He was a heart and soul guy. Okay, last thing, Jake. CBS will have the Padres and the Rockies come this Saturday. What can fans expect pre, post, everything else about the broadcast?
Yeah, super excited. I fly back tomorrow to San Diego, so I can get on a plane on Friday and fly to Colorado to cover the game. It's going to be great. It's going to be extended Padres coverage through and through. So I'll be live at Coors Field leading up to the game, which the Padres TV does a much shorter pregame show.
Yeah.
So it's just like a full pregame show at this point. We'll be live coverage starting at 5:30, which would be Colorado time. So
Mountain time.
San Diego time. And it goes right to 5 o'clock San Diego time. And then the game will be as normal. Don, Mudd, all the guys on the 10th. And then right after that, we'll get postgame. I've already locked it in. We'll have a live interview with one of the players pregame.
Nice.
post game, if they win, we'll talk to somebody. So just another exciting day. I felt the first one went really well in a sense. Like we had people emailing us being like, thank you so much. Just
good.
Provide, baseball on TV, and we miss it. And I sure hope it grows into something even more. I know we're kind of testing out 10 games this year, but I think it's been a really big success so far. I'm looking forward to this one, and I hope it grows into something even further.
Awesome. If you end up with Michael King, miking up Michael King on Saturday, interviewing him, make sure you ask him why he thinks Luis Ariz is Ant-Man. Just go ahead and continue that conversation and just give him the business.
I will. I actually interviewed Michael for the first game we had, and I asked him at the very end of it, I said, CBS is definitely the place you want to break your contract news, right? And I said, go ahead and tell us all you're going to be here for the next
Do it.
Years. He did not confirm it, but I think I'm whittling away at him. I'm going to get it.
Do it. Jake, you're the man. Enjoy the margarita. I should Venmo you for your next margarita. Thanks for your time. Talk to you soon. Stay safe. And hopefully you get to actually watch a game since you're all the way in New York. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'll be very bummed if the game doesn't work out. Marty, appreciate you as always. Much love, and keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Take care. See ya. Okay, so that was Jake Giarriani from CBS. And remember, reminder for you Padres fans who don't have the subscription, you can watch them for free. They're going to be on CBS Saturday against the Rockies. And as Jake mentioned, they are going to have an extended pregame show, which is always fun. And that'll be in Colorado. Okay, during the course of the interview, the Padres have put out a tweet that this game is actually going to happen. First pitch is scheduled for 4:30, so the timing worked out perfectly. Here is your lineup. Again, it's going to be Tatis leading off, Luis Ariz at first, Manny Machado batting third, Bogarts at shortstop batting cleanup, Luis Campusano is your DH, Oscar Gonzalez out in left field, Diaz behind the plate, Tyler Wade, who is one of Aaron Rodgers, goodness sakes. I have the NFL, the Steelers on my mind, allegedly. He was one of Aaron Judge's best friends. He was a groomsman in his wedding. Brandon Lockridge, enjoy it, buddy, out in center field. And Nick Pivetta is on the mound. All right, let's see. From Chris Mack, it's Jake Giotti. Jake, what? It's Jake Giarriani. Jake Giarriani. I need to make sure I got his name correct because I stumbled over it for about 2 years, but trust me, it's Jake Giarriani, and he's great. He's a great person to talk to. He's great in the Padres. So you guys will enjoy that extended pregame show on Saturday. Okay, I think that is it for today. There's going to be a game. So get your last minute chores out of the way. I need to take my patient nephew to the park. I promised him that we were going to play spin copter. Is it called spin copter? So yes, I need to go ahead and get some of that energy out so I can concentrate on Padres and Yankees coming up here at 4:30. Guys, thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry I was late earlier today. Had some rescheduling issues and some tech issues and some life issues, but I'll be back here tomorrow morning with AJ Cassavell of MLB.com. He is in New York. We'll have a lot more on Jackson Merrill, who isn't playing today. Maybe he can pinch it. Who knows? But we will see him tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you all as well. Again, we are brought to you by the all-new Hamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. Have a great Monday. Thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.
Just winning some ball games, man. We're back to ourselves. Obviously we got some help, and we got some healthy guys back in the lineup that made it a lot better. But our pitching staff did a really good job, man. And offensively, we hit with runners in scoring position. Like I said last weekend, we didn't take advantage of those spots. We had opportunities to score some runs, and we didn't. We didn't do it. And we made an adjustment this series, and we came out with 2 victories.
The adjustment, and Jason Hayward. The adjustment with runners in scoring position.
I mean, I think it was just we felt lonely out there. We missed our guys. And we missed them in the clubhouse. They were gone for a whole week, and we just felt empty. And they were back, so they're a big part of our ball club, and they bring a lot of energy.